What's happening here, that nation? Welcome into our live edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Trace Girouard. I got producer Patrick Seatman on the ones and twos with me. So glad to have all of you here with us today. Be sure to hit the thumbs up icon, share the stream, comment often, so that way we can get this stream across the entire Who Dat Nation. But if you are ready to talk some Saints football, rapid fire me in the comment section. I'm going to start it off real quick. I see Seth Centipede in there saying, yes, sir. He's ready to go. He's ready to roll, ready to talk. Pelicans Nola in the chat earlier today. Sunday O'Sullivan, Bearded Dragon, Ryan Karcher. Appreciate all of y'all for tuning in and joining the stream. We're getting the me's in there. Somebody get me in the chat. I want you to be the comment MVP. If you do that, you'll get some shout outs. We're giving shout outs to everyone who is commenting and joining us today. Shout out to Courtney, David, Kyle, It's Poppy, Seth. Appreciate all of y'all for joining us. It's Poppy saying, man, what's up? Let's get down to business from Brett. Jalen's in the chat. Ed's in the chat. Joseph's in the chat. Courtney is in the chat and in the comment section like she always is. Appreciate you tuning in, Courtney. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. DJ Diaz is here in the chat. Daniel Jameson. Kyle Robinson. Let's go, Ed. Be sure to like the video. 44 people hanging out with us. 16 likes. Hit the thumbs up icon. Let's get this party started. Raging Reg, Jalen, Derek Carr, poo. Don't sign that bum. Jalen, we're going to get into Derek Carr and whether or not he is poo in, a few minutes. Kyle Robinson's in the chat. DJ Diaz, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I want to know, it's a Who Dat Nation for a reason. We're not all in Louisiana. I am here in Dallas, Texas, behind enemy lines in Cowboys territory, unfortunately. I did grow up here in Dallas, but I want to know, where are you guys watching from? Where y'all watching from? Where are you hanging out? Where do you rep the black and gold? Where are you rocking your gear? Got this fresh jacket for Christmas. Had to break it out because it's a little not stormy, a little rainy, kind of gloomy weather, but you know what? It's dripping outside, so we're going to be dripping right in the stew. You know how we be. You know how we do it. You know how we do it. We want Baker in Mississippi from Kyle. Kenner from Daniel. The Gump. Courtney's in Alabama. DJ Bayside. High is in the building. Signed Baker. Welsh. Let's go. Galliano, Lima, Peru. Dallas from New Orleans. Kenneth, we're out here in Dallas, Texas as well. Houston, Texas from 2 times NOLA. My dad grew up in Houston. My grandma lives down there. Shout out Houston. Princeton, Texas from our guy Eric. Ed Creel in Iowa, but born and raised in Mississippi. Bourbon Street is in the building. That's lit. Have a hand grenade for me. Go hit up Pat O's. Go get some Willie's chicken or something. I need to get back on bourbon. That's my element. That's where I am most at home and most in my space. Australia from David. Let's go. Aussie. Oi. All right. Let's get Lamar from Kenneth. So we're going to talk Lamar. We're going to talk Derek Carr, Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette. We're going to talk everybody. This is not just a 10-minute hangout. We're talking for the next 45 minutes to an hour about the latest Saints news and rumors. But I want you guys to let me know. The Buccaneers recently let us know they are releasing Louisiana State legend, St. Augustine legend, Leonard Fournette. So should the Saints bring Lenny Fournette back to Louisiana? Type Y if yes, type in for no for me. New Zealand from Jeff. I'm from NOLA but live in Dallas from It's Poppy. Ed Creel is typing no. Type Y for yes, N for no. Should the Saints bring back Leonard Fournette? Should they bring him back home to his home state of Louisiana? Mikey Taylor is in his house. What's up, Mikey? How you doing, brother? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you good, my boy. Courtney's typing yes. Kenneth's typing yes. Hey, man, I love your channel from 2 times NOLA. Hey, man, I appreciate you, and I love you 2 times. Adam Richard, I can't remember. Born in the 504, repping from VA right now. Let's go. Kyle's typing yes. Jalen's typing yes. David, Brett, Jalen, all of y'all typing it. I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm not going to lie, Seeps. I'm not going to lie. I thought there was going to be a lot more no's in there. I would be against it.
He may be cooked.
There is that. He might be cooked. He might be washed. He might be washed a little bit. He might play well. He might take a new team. Might get, he might play a little harder for his hometown team. I also know that he did say he asked to be released as soon as the season was over. He knew Tom was gone. I don't think he wanted to be in Tampa Bay. Let's keep it real. All right, we're going to break this down here shortly, but we're also going to talk quarterback. So we got to get this going. We got to talk quarterback. Derek Carr, he met with the Saints. We're going to break that down here shortly. Jameis Winston's under contract. Taysom Hill, he's a tight end, but gets a lot of quarterback reps. He was successful and has a pretty good record as a quarterback. You have to acknowledge it. Baker Mayfield also has been linked to the Saints. I want you to let me know. Pick a quarterback. If you had to pick any of these, let me know. Type DC for Derek Carr, JW for Jameis Winston, TH for Taysom Hill, BM for bowel movement Baker Mayfield, or type O for other. Mikey, yo, Trace, where do I get a jacket like yours? I'm going to keep it real. I think it might have been Fanatics. I'm not sure. I got it for Christmas. My dad got it for me. Steve-O got it. He's a legend. So, all right. Kyle saying Baker. Other Kyle saying Derek Carr all the way to Taysom to back him up, though. Seth Centipede wants Taysom Hill. Kyle Robinson wants Baker Mayfield. Daniel wants Derek Carr. Seth, Taysom Hill. Kyle, Baker Mayfield. Jalen Richard, none of them. Jalen, type your O then, brother. Two Nola's typing no, or is typing his O. Man, it's kind of split. Kenny Simmons says somebody out of the draft. Courtney, somebody out of the draft. Jalen Anthony Richardson, not a bad prospect. Could fall. Pull a Mike Ditka and give up everything for the number 1 pick. If that happened, I would burn everything I own that's black and gold. I would burn everything that I owned. Just no. God, no. It took years to recover from a terrible decision like that. But Dennis Allen might be lacking brain cells enough to do that. So we'll see. Anyway, we do have a mailbag coming your way at the end of the live, or at the back end of the live stream. We're going to have 2 segments. We're going to talk news and rumors. We're going to talk wild Saints trade targets. And then we're also going to talk mailbag, answer your questions. Best way to get on the channel get on the show to help out my guy, producer Seeps. Use hashtag Saints, or better yet, Super Chat. If you do that, be sure to ask a question so that way we can interact and talk with you guys. If you do Super Chat, you skip the line, no problems at all. We pop you up the very next question. And also we're doing a little deal. Every $5 Super Chat throughout the day, we're going to put on some beads. I have my whole bag of beads. I got my power beads too. We got everything. So every Super Chat of $5 or more, we're going to put on one set of beads. And we're going to keep them on for the segments. And then everyone who didn't tune in the live stream will be like, why is this idiot wearing beads? And we're all going to be like, well, you're the idiot because you weren't at the live stream. So, could kind of be our own little thing, kind of our own little joke. But I also want you guys to go down and hit the thumbs up icon. We have 54 people watching, 25 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Come on. I don't get paid to not have you like the video. You got to hit the thumbs up icon. If you're not going to do it for me, do it for my guy, producer Seeps, because we've been grinding all day trying to get this show ready for you guys. So that way you can have the greatest, the latest, and the best Saints news and rumors here today. And we're going to get this thing started. Once we get to 30 likes, I just refuse. I refuse. I am not moving on until we get to 30 likes. So we need 4 more likes. 62 people watching. We only need 6 likes. It really shouldn't be this difficult.
Actually, Trace, I'm not getting into the segment until we're at least 35 likes.
All right. Seep said it. 35 likes.
He's staying on the screen.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to just sit here. Actually, this is kind of good time because I need to kind of fix this headset real quick. So bear with me 1 second, guys. Seeps, you want to give him some shout-outs real fast?
I will. He says, come on, dude, talk shop. Once we get 2 more likes, we're going to talk all types of Saints football. Stewart is saying draft a QB. I know Trace is a fan of the man Hendon Hooker.
Oh, dude, give me Hendon or give me death.
37 likes. We're good.
All right, that works. We'll call it. That. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We couldn't be chumps. We're not chumps on this channel. Not out here. No chump change out here. All right. So first things first, we're going to talk some Derek Carr, Leonard Fournette, and a little bit more. Give me something to like, brah. Edward, if you give me here about 5 seconds, I'll give you something to like right now. What's happening, Who Dat Nation? Welcome into today's show. I'm your host, Trace Girouard. We have a very busy slate on today's channel. We're going to be talking some Derek Carr news. The Saints met with him. We're going to get into some updates around that situation. Next, could Leonard Fournette be headed home to Louisiana? He was released by the Buccaneers earlier this week, so we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, we also need to discuss Zeke because the Saints have a running back need. We have a whole lot to break down, but before we do, I want you to go down and subscribe so that way you don't miss a single thing around any Saints news, rumors, or updates. We're trying to get 25 new subscribers on this video alone. If we make that happen, the boss has said that I can make another video and put one out tomorrow. If it doesn't happen, I might not be able to put a video out tomorrow, and I also might have to delete the channel according to them. So don't make me do that. Help me out. Subscribe today. But let's talk Derek Carr. So the Saints have had a second meeting with quarterback Derek Carr, and this comes after they tried to go trade for him when he was still under contract with the Raiders. They met with him once. The trade did not go down. He's now met with the Jets. He's met with some other teams, and now that he's at the NFL scouting combine, he has met with the Jets and the Saints again. And according to reports, the meeting with the Saints actually went very, very well. So Carr is meeting with the Jets again at the scouting combine, and I believe it was today on Wednesday as I'm recording this video. But notably, as to consider, Dave Tepper of Carolina also met with Derek Carr, and they're going to be exploring all their options. Obviously have a high draft pick, but it is worth noting the Saints are very much so in on the Derek Carr sweepstakes. And so this is a quarterback who comes in with a 60% completion percentage, 3,500 yards in the air, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. And I was talking to my guy, producer Seeps over here, before we got this live started. And I wanted to just discuss the idea of, if Derek Carr comes to New Orleans, could that immediately elevate the Saints to the best team in the NFC South? And I really, really think it does. But Mike Garafolo is here to explain why it might not happen today. Nothing is imminent here, this coming in from Garafolo. Derek Carr would like to make his decision on his future before the negotiating period begins on March 13th. So some time between now and then, I expect Derek Carr to find his new home, and really right now, it's about fit. So as we're recording this, it is Wednesday, March 1st. So this means the tampering period for free agency begins March 13th. Free agency officially opens March 15th, but Derek Carr could sign at any point. It's one of those situations where the Saints could go get him and make a deal happen right now. But he's looking for a fit, and he knows that the money will come after. He's trying to find a place where he knows he can thrive. He can have good relationships with the team, with the fan base, connect to the culture, relationships with the coaching staff. And I think that these are all valuable things to consider whenever you're taking a new job in a new city, and really any situation, not just in football. So it's interesting to see that he's really hitting on the idea of having a good fit rather than being like, I want to go and just chase a bag and get as much money as I can. I think the Saints, for that reason, could still be a very big reason, or a very big favorite for Derek Carr. And I really do think it does come down to the Jets and the Saints. I think the Panthers are going to address their quarterback need in the NFL draft. I could see them either taking one with their original pick or potentially even moving up to go get a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud or an Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, whoever they desire and whoever they want. I could see them taking one of those guys. But I do think that if Aaron Rodgers decides he's going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders, I believe that it's going to come down to the Jets and the Saints. And at that point, the Jets could 100% outbid the Saints, but the Saints, I think, have a better culture fit, which makes my last point a little bit more interesting. But I do still think, regardless of what you do in the quarterback situation this offseason, whether you bring in Derek Carr, whether you go get a guy like Baker Mayfield, whether you run it back with Jameis Winston, bring back Andy Dalton, you say screw it and you go Taysom Hill altogether, I think you still go and draft a quarterback this year. And I'm not saying you go and draft one in the 6th, 7th round. I'm not saying you go get a Jaron Hall in the 5th, and I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback. But what I'm saying is you go still prioritize that and go get a Hendon Hooker, a Jake Haener. If you can get a guy like Anthony Richardson, a Will Levis, one of these guys you need to try and go get because the future is just as important as right now, if not more. But I want you to let me know, Who Dat Nation, pick a quarterback. So these are just some of the situations, some of the ideas that have been floated around in Saints media, in Saints podcasts, blogs, all sorts of stuff. Derek Carr, obviously, a very big reason or a very big tie. Jameis Winston still under contract. He is still, and he said the other day, I'm not a free agent yet. He's preparing to still potentially come back to be a Saint. Taysom Hill has had some great reps as a quarterback. He has done some pretty impressive things as a quarterback, but I don't know if he's necessarily a full-time starting quarterback. Baker Mayfield has been linked to the Saints in free agency if some of these other guys don't work out because he could be pretty cheap. But I also gave you guys the option of other. Let me know. Pick a quarterback. Type DC, JW, TH, BM, or O. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be looking for your comments, and I'll be interacting with you as soon as I can. All right. This might upset some people. Let's talk Leonard Fournette because Lenny is on the market. Could Louisiana Lenny be headed home after the Buccaneers released Fournette? And they haven't released him, but they notified the league that they will be releasing him on March 15th. So he'll be a free agent. Last season, the Bucs re-signed him to a 3-year, $21 million contract, which is hilarious because the Bucs are in cap hell. Everyone's saying the Saints are in cap hell, but nobody's talking about just how bad the Bucs are. And honestly, F the Bucs. Type FTB if you hate the Buccaneers as well. But the former LSU and St. Augustine legend could fill a need at running back that the Saints currently have and that they will have next season. And I think that Leonard Fournette is a guy that you might want to think about. On 189 carries, 668 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 73 receptions for 523 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the air. I think that Leonard Fournette, unfortunately, is a little bit washed. That being said, when you take a look at the current running back depth chart, the only guy who isn't 100% washed on this depth chart, or at least, that's not very fair to say. Alvin Kamara is not washed. He's kind of getting to a point where he's getting a little bit older, might expect a little bit more money, obviously has a suspension. Mark Ingram, he's old, he is washed. We can't ignore it. I love Mark Ingram. I think he's a legend, but he is just old, and it is time for him to hang it up. Dwayne Washington, David Johnson, Eno Benjamin, Adam Prentice. My point being, you could do a hell of a lot worse. And I think at the end of the day, the idea of bringing Leonard Fournette in would be a lot of fun. It would be a homegrown Louisiana guy. It would be really cool to see him rock the black and gold. And I think that he could honestly be a valuable member of the offense. I just would rather go younger and cheaper at running back. I'd rather address that in the draft with a guy like Tyjae Spears late in the draft, or you can even get somebody early like a Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I also believe that you could address it in free agency with another running back like a David Montgomery or a Miles Sanders if you really wanted to ball out. I think that the idea of it is more fun than the actual execution of me bringing him in and seeing it happen. That being said, if the Saints do bring Leonard Fournette in and he blows it up and he is incredible, I will be the first to admit I was wrong, and I'll be the first to admit that, hey, it happens. People have takes and sometimes they're incorrect, but I don't think that Leonard Fournette would be should be a big priority for the Saints this offseason. But the show is not about me. It's about the Who Dat Nation. I want you guys to let me know. Should the Saints bring Leonard Fournette, back to Louisiana? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. And while you're down there, I'm going to have the link to our Saints jerseys in the comment section and the description of this video. You can get it at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. Get hooked up with a Chris Olave, Cameron Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, Taysom Hill, Rashid Shaheed, Drew Brees. Whatever you want, you can go get at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. Get geared up in the offseason because no better time to get geared up to have it ready for the regular season so you can be repping it whenever the Saints are playing. All right. Now, let's talk Ezekiel Elliott. And this is kind of one that this is an idea, and this is a subject that I haven't really seen much coverage of. I haven't seen anybody really talk about, could Zeke come to New Orleans and be somebody who could fill that running back 2 spot and fill in for Alvin Kamara while he faces a suspension. The Cowboys realistically could move on from Ezekiel Elliott. And that is not something that is just, maybe it hasn't. It's a very real possibility because they might want to bring back a guy like Tony Pollard, who is a free agent, who Tom Downey, our Cowboys host here at Chat Sports, believes the Cowboys are going to franchise tag. And I think that that's a pretty good possibility that happens as well. And also Dov Kleiman adding this. He said the Cowboys aren't ruling out the possibility of drafting a running back in the first round of the draft, according to Stephen Jones. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Obviously, I don't think that that Zeke would be the best option for the Saints. But if he moves on, at one point in time, Zeke was a dog. But he is not a dog that much anymore, I guess you could say. It also doesn't help that he splits a lot of carries and splits a lot of touches with Tony Pollard. In 15 games played this year, had 231 carries, 876 yards, 12 touchdowns, and then the receiving numbers really not impressive. Zeke was good, and he was a dog, and I think that honestly with a good 1-2 punch with him and Alvin Kamara, it could be interesting. It definitely could work, but I would rather, like I said, go and address this in the draft. This running back draft class is loaded. You have a lot of premier talent that's going to go early in the first and second rounds. And then you also have a lot of depth talent in the later rounds that you can go get. I mean, take a look at the top 5 guys in the top 5 running backs in this draft class. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devin Achane, Zach Charbonnet, and Tank Bigsby, all great running backs. And then you also have Deuce McBride out of Kansas State. Go get another Deuce. That'd be kind of cool. And then you also have, like I said, Tyjae Spears. There's a lot of really talented running backs in this class. I think you go and do that, take that route to build in the running back room rather than bringing in an older and worn down veteran like Zeke or Leonard Fournette for that matter. But I want you guys to let me know what running back do you want the Saints to add? And it doesn't matter whether it's free agency, draft, trade. I don't care how it is. It can be as cool. It can be as realistic, unrealistic, as crazy as you want it to be. I don't care. I want you to let me know what running back do you want the Saints to add during this offseason. And also, guys, for more Saints news and rumors and coverage, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. I'll have the links to my page or to my pages in the comment section and in the description of this video. I love chopping it up with the Who Dat Nation. Appreciate you guys for hanging out and tuning in today. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time. Have a good day. All right, let's see what people are saying. Brett saying, Elliott is washed. Courtney, Tank is a dog from the plains. Tank Bigsby is very good. The War Eagle is very good. Zeke, yeah, also great football name. Almost as good as a football name as Arkansas legend Rocket Sanders. Rocket Sanders as a running back name is just absolutely lethal. It's lethal. Just like Bumper Pool at linebacker. Incredible. Great names. All right. Love to draft A-Train or Tank. That'd be cool. Tyjae Spears is the best option. I think Tyjae Spears is the best fit. I think that he fits exactly the need that the Saints have. I think that he's a guy that won't go in the first 2-3 rounds. I think you can go address him later. I would love Tyjae Spears, man. If that happened, I would love that. Alexander Mattison. Seeps. He's a Vikings guy.
You don't want him in New Orleans. He's, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of him. He only has like a 4.1 yards per carry on his career. He's just not too explosive. I don't know. I'm not a big Madison guy. It's not. Most Vikings fans aren't.
Appreciate you too. Appreciate that addition. Yeah, I don't know if Madison is the guy. I'm sorry, Jeff.
He's not.
Jeff Houtman. I'm in Indy for the Combine. Just met Jalen Carter at the airport. Wow. He offered to drive me to my hotel. I won this, right? That did not happen. That did not happen.
Come on, dude.
Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Fournette and Deion Jones back in Louisiana. We could go get Tank 6th to 7th round. Tajay's cheap but good. TBH Gibbs would not be a bad for how fast he is. I like Jahmyr Gibbs too. I think he's an interesting one. Depends on where you want to spend your draft capital. If you get DC draft, you want to bring. If you get okay, David. I'm gonna kind of expand thoughts. So he says it depends on where you want to spend your draft capital. If you get Derek Carr, do you draft? If you get Derek Carr, draft a running back and bring him a vet running back as a senior. I think you. So here's my draft. If you go get Derek Carr, draft defensive line, draft like a defensive interior guy in the first round. Second round, Hendon Hooker. Third round, you go get a safety or a maybe a wide receiver, maybe pass catcher, maybe an offensive guard, and then I think fourth round you go get Tajay.
What if you sign Carr to like a 4-year deal? Are you still going to want to draft Hendon Hooker? Like, what if it's a 2-year deal?
So
it might be
my
perfect.
thought process on this is sign Derek Carr to a deal that, and I know I'm ready for y'all to rip me up for this. I think you go sign Derek Carr to a deal that's loaded, heavy up front.
Yeah.
That you can get out of easily in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Because you can still draft Hendon Hooker. You can have Derek Carr be like, you're our guy. You're our starting quarterback.
For a couple years.
This is how it's going to be. But then you can also have Hendon Hooker in the chamber ready to roll. And
keep the pressure on him?
Yeah, keep the pressure on Carr to keep playing well. And if you're like, hey, one, if you want to trade Derek Carr, it's not too expensive. And two, if you want to cut him, and not too. I think like
good take.
It might not be the smartest financially, but I think in terms of just like
I don't hate it.
Money isn't real in the NFL. That's why I say it. And
especially with the Saints.
Yeah, especially with the Saints. Money does not exist. Remember when we were 100 mil over the cap and we got 20 mil under? That was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do a quick shot clock thing. I wanted to have a little fun here. I want to have a little fun with the squad. So we're going to do a 3-minute shot clock. So for every $5 we get, I got a whole bag of beads. These are just some of them. We got a whole bag of beads. Every $5 that we get in for the next 3 minutes, we're going to put on a set of beads and have that be a part of the next video. It's going to be fun. Trying to have some fun, trying to have a good time, trying to support the channel, help grow the channel a little bit more, get a little bit more of that exposure and all that. And by super chatting, liking, subscribing, commenting, always to help us do that. Appreciate all 54 likes that we've gotten today. Let's get that number up to 60, though. Start Taysom Hill, draft Osiris out of Florida, or Jalen Hyatt at 29. Dude, could you imagine going Jalen Hyatt at 29 and then go get Hendon Hooker at 40, and then you're like, well, we have Hooker, we have Hyatt, we have Shaheed, we have Olave, we have Juwan Johnson.
Kamara?
No. Kamara
Tennessee
after he
guys?
gets done suspended. We are the Tennessee Saints, and that team is winning games. Courtney, $10. Courtney's with the 10. We're going to throw, because Courtney got the first one. I have these special beads that say Go Saints. Look at these. Say Go Saints. So I'm going to throw these ones on. I'm going to throw these and another set on for my girl Courtney. Appreciate you, Courtney. Thanks, Court. You're the real one. You're my main man. You're my main girl. I appreciate you.
Those are good.
Let's go. All right. So we still got a minute and a half left. We want to go some more beads, another $5. Every $5 is a set of beads. So help us out, just like our girl Courtney. She is today's MVP. We're going to be giving her a very special shout out at the end of the show. So I appreciate you, Courtney. 100% agree with Jeff. What was Jeff saying? Start Taysom Hill, draft Osiris. Yeah. I think that's not a bad plan. For real, with all these volunteers, we'd be stacked from Seth. It'd be interesting. I mean, definitely our Browns host, Matthew Peterson, Tennessee volunteer alum, I think he'd be jealous that we'd all had all the Saints players. Oh, and Marquez Callaway is a Saint? I mean, yeah. And then you have Cody Burns as their wide receiver coach, former Tennessee wide receiver coach. Jeez. Yeah, this team is literally turning into Tennessee. That's wild. All right. 30 seconds left. If anybody wants to help support the channel, we'll throw on some more beads. We'll hang out. We'll have some fun. We're about to get into some absolutely wild, like when I say wild, I mean crazy, Saints trade ideas. If you want to get on the show, though, if you want to help us out, or just a reminder, use hashtag Saints. 1 second, guys. Use hashtag Saints. Super chat. You can get on the show. We'll pop Courtney's $10 donation up during the mailbag as well, just to give her a little extra love. Another shout out in one of our videos that'll go out later this week. 5 seconds left to get the super chats, but let's get those questions in. Use hashtag Saints. You give me a trade target. Give me a draft target. Talk to me about whatever you want. We can trade whoever. We can talk about signing whoever. You can ask me about my life. You can ask me about the Super Bowl. You can ask me about whatever you want. Just use hashtag Saints and ask us a question. You'd be helping out my guy, producer Seeps. I mean, we haven't. Oh, Mikey! Mikey with the $10 super chat. Going to throw on 2 for my guy, Mikey. Appreciate you, brother. He says, here, let me put this on real fast. He says, get Derek Carr, draft defense with the first round, maybe get a young quarterback or maybe wait till next season for quarterback. Who dat? And David with a 5. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, and I'll make a deal. If anybody sends a 20, that's when we'll put this one on. When we get a 20, we'll put on the big one. All right, so I'm going to put on these ones real quick. Actually, do I have any more? Let's see if I have another set of fun ones in here. Yeah, let's do these ones.
Appreciate it, Mikey and David.
Appreciate you, Mikey. Appreciate you, David. Y'all are absolutely legends. David, you've been hanging out with us for a little bit. Mikey, you've been hanging out with us since day one, and, that's just absolutely appreciated. I mean, ever since I took this channel over, I've been seeing – yeah, I can't get it. I've been seeing Mikey in the comment section, so I'm going to just throw these ones on for Mikey. All right. Appreciate you, Mikey. David, $5. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you guys for the donations. Also, please ask questions. It will be sure to – hey, Alex Cortez, Trace, my man, what's going on? What's going on, Alex? How you doing, brother? Alex, I want you on the show. I need you to ask a question about literally anything. I don't care what it's about. Preferably about Saints football, but it can be about anything, to be fair. Use hashtag Saints, though. I cannot express how important it is to get hashtag Saints in the comments, so that way we can get your questions and your takes on the show. We can interact. We can talk. We can have some fun. And also, if we don't get them, then we can't really do the mailbag. So, we need questions. So help us out. But I'll let you guys get that. I'll let you guys get your questions in here in a minute. But for now, let's talk some crazy, some wild, some absolutely insane Saints trade rumors. Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and welcome into the wildest trade rumors video you have seen this offseason so far. Before we get started breaking down these insane trade ideas, I want to preface this. I'm throwing out 5 trade ideas that are extremely unlikely. However, it's the NFL offseason. We're allowed to have a little bit of fun. And let's just pretend like money does not exist in the NFL. And you might be asking why you're wearing these beads. We film this as a part of our weekly live show. So if you guys want to be a part of it, subscribe, join us to be a part of it. We got some super chats, some donations. That's why we're wearing the beads. So appreciate all of those who supported. But let's get into some crazy trade ideas. First one on the list, Lamar Jackson. And I know that this is a big one that a lot of the Saints fans really, really, really like. That being said, if you want Lamar Jackson, you're going to have to pay big time, and you're going to have to pay up, and you're going to have to throw him a lot of capital and a lot of players, money, whatever the hell it's going to be. You're going to have to pay him big time, because look at what he did last season in 12 games. 62.3 completion percentage, 2,200 yards in the air, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 112 carries for 764 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson is one of the most dynamic, most electric, most entertaining, and most fun NFL players in the game of football right now. And that is why it is going to cost you a haul like this. My trade idea: Saints get Lamar Jackson, you get the quarterback, you get the dual threat phenomenon, you get the dog, and you get to bring in one of the best and most talented athletes in the NFL. However, I think the Saints give up their quarterback in Jameis Winston, who you look like you might move on from and cut anyway. You also give up your first-round pick this year, your first-round pick next year, your second-round pick next year, and then also a first-round pick or second-round pick in 2025. Like, you got to give them depth for a while because Lamar Jackson is a beast. He is a dog. That being said, I'm curious, and I want you guys to let me know, what's the most that you would be willing to give up on a Lamar Jackson trade? I know it's going to cost a lot, and I think that it might even cost a little bit more than what I threw out, but I want you to let me know, what is the most you're willing to give up to trade for Lamar Jackson? All right, next thing on the list, we're talking DeAndre Hopkins. Everyone knows the Saints need some wide receiver help. They need some veteran help. They need a pass catcher that is he's the big body, just contested catch guy, and I don't think that there's a better guy in the league to do that than DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, let's call it how it was. 9 games played, obviously had his suspension earlier this season. 64 receptions, 717 yards, 11 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns on the air. The dude can still ball. And when you take a look at the wide receiver depth chart, you have guys that you're losing to free agency. You obviously might have to move on and cut Michael Thomas. And I think that DeAndre Hopkins, no matter what you say, no matter what you think, regardless of what you view his production is, he's still a damn good wide receiver. And he is still a guy that no matter what you do, he will terrorize a defensive backfield or defensive backs, and he will terrorize the secondary. And we all know this. It's no mystery. The Saints need a contested catch guy. Remember this play? Remember this? Found your guy. If you want to go get him, if you want to ball out and go get him, might as well. And here's a trade idea that I threw up. And honestly, like, I'd do it. I'd do it. I'm not even kidding. I'd do it. And get mad, get upset, whatever. I'd do it. I don't really care. It would be fun to have DeAndre Hopkins in. You're only giving up a second and a fourth. Yeah. Why would you not? That would be awesome. And by the way, I want to go down and remind y'all to subscribe to the channel because not only are we doing fun videos like this, we're also having bi-weekly live shows where we're getting to break down Saints news and rumors, interacting with the Who Dat Nation. We're also going to have the best news, rumors, and free agency coverage throughout the offseason. And I can guarantee you no one's going to match our draft coverage. We're going to have videos leading up to the draft, videos minutes that come out, videos that come out minutes after the draft picks come in. We're going to be giving out grades, breakdowns, all sorts of fun draft coverage, so be sure to not miss that. We actually even have Tom Downey and our executive producer Sam Brown out at the NFL Combine right now. So at the NFL Scouting Combine right now. So you're not getting better draft coverage than here. Take pride in being a Saints channel by Saints fans for Saints fans, and it's 100% free. So why should you not subscribe? I just gave you 5 great reasons. Help us out. Join the squad. We're trying to get to 15K by the end of the offseason. Join the team. All right, here's another one that I talked about recently, Jalen Ramsey. I think that this is a guy that, regardless of what you say, I think he might be a little washed. I can't sit here and say he's bad, but I can't sit here and say he was great this year. I mean, in coverage, he allowed 62.6 per completion percentage, 659 yards in the air, 5 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of around 85. And I think that Jalen Ramsey, if you remember Chris Olave dusting this fool and burning him at the Dome, making him look like an idiot, I watched Chris Olave run to the end zone and just burn this fool. I mean, I swear Olave and I made eye contact. It was nuts. Jalen Ramsey, I just don't know. But I do think this. I do know this. You could plug in Jalen Ramsey next to Marshawn Lattimore to go over Paulson and Debo, allow Alontae Taylor a little bit more time, maybe even throw him at a nickel spot. I think that would be electric, and I think it would be a lot of fun. Obviously, there's some concerns around Paulson and Debo, whether a lot of people were mixed as to whether or not his play was that great this year. I don't think it was all that good. I think that he showed flashes, he showed signs of good football, but overall probably could do better. Jalen Ramsey would be expensive as all hell, though, and it's because he's one of the best and one of the most, well-rounded, most agile, all-around best DBs in the NFL. I suggest you go get Jalen Ramsey for a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick, and next year's 3rd-round pick. Again, it's all for fun. It's all having a good time. It's the offseason, so why not just talk about some crazy stuff that could or couldn't happen? But imagine this. Marshawn Lattimore on one side, Jalen Ramsey on the other side. And I'll even throw this in there, Alontae Taylor at your slot. I know that we haven't seen Alontae Taylor in the slot or at the nickel quarterback position. I feel like he could do it, though. I feel like Alontae Taylor has that dog in him, and I feel like he could figure it out. We've already seen how scrappy and aggressive he is. We'll see what he can do. But, again, likely not going to happen. But it would be fun, and it's the offseason, so let's have some fun. So get crazy in the comments section for me. Name your dream trade target. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section. It could be anybody. It could be anybody across the NFL. Again, money doesn't exist, and it's the offseason. Have some fun. It doesn't matter. It's YouTube. All right, next things next. Daron Payne. I think that this is a guy that the Saints should definitely give a call to because the Washington Commanders have recently franchise tagged Daron Payne. The Saints have a glaring need at defensive tackle. A lot of guys leaving in free agency, a lot of talent that could definitely be upgraded. But would Washington even think about moving on from a dominant defensive lineman they have right now? They just franchise tagged him, so maybe if you could give him a haul, it could work. But I seriously doubt that they would even think about moving on or consider it. But to address the defensive line depth chart, David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle, obviously both could potentially leave in free agency. I think the Saints should try and bring back David Onyemata. We did see Tano Passanio get extended or get another contract. It is added on last week. So obviously they're doing some stuff around the defensive line anyway. Albert Huggins also potentially leaving in free agency in terms of the defensive tackles. Malcolm Roach is coming back, but I think that Daron Payne is a guy who could fill in and be absolutely game-changing for the New Orleans Saints. 64 tackles last season, 18 tackles for a loss, 11.5 sacks, and 20 quarterback hits in 17 games played. And like I said, guys, it's going to take a lot, but here's what I would suggest. You either give him Malcolm Roach or Jameis Winston because, as we know, the Commanders don't really have a great quarterback situation. They just cut Carson Wentz. It seems like they're going to go run it or try and see what happens with Sam Howell bringing in Eric Bieniemy. But could they look to bring in a quarterback that has some experience that could potentially groom Sam Howell a little bit more and help him, get a little bit extra veteran leadership before he truly takes the field? Malcolm Roach to fill that defensive tackle need as well. I say you do one or both of those guys, but also a 2023 second-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick. You're going to have to give up a good amount. Daron Payne, an absolute game changer, an absolute game wrecker. But at the end of the day, I got to know, do you want more Saints trade videos? Because I can't keep making these, and I can't be coming up with all these crazy ideas if I'm not getting any feedback. So hit the thumbs up icon. Like the video if you want more more Saints videos about trade ideas. Realistic, crazy draft trade ideas, quarterback trade ideas, running back. We can do all sorts of fun trade videos, but just let me know in the comment section if you want more by hitting the thumbs up icon. And so let's talk about this last one. Zach Wilson. I saw this and I had to include it. It was just going to be these 4 guys, but I had to include it because DraftKings, man. No. Piss off. They tweeted this out. Could this get Zach Wilson on the move to New Orleans? And here's the trick, dude. It's just so bad. It's so bad. Giving up a second and a fourth. I don't even have takes for this, man. I'm not prepared for the lack of common sense that was in that tweet. No, this was the trade idea that they suggested. And Zach Wilson is not good. He got benched. Joe Flacco was starting. The Jets are not the Jets had a lot of good things going, but Zach Wilson was not one of them. I think you avoid Zach Wilson. I think that he's just one of those certified busts. I think he's an athlete, sure. No, I want nothing to do with him. I don't want the distraction of all the extra moms and whatnot. I'm good. No, thank you. But at the end of the day, the show isn't about me. It's all about you guys. Would you ever trade for Zach Wilson? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let me know in the comments section. Who Dat Nation? It's always a pleasure. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time. All right. Wow. That one kind of took a little bit out of me. I'm not even going to lie. That one took a little bit out of me. Yeah, I know. Everyone's saying, hell nah. But also, I got to take this off because my girl Courtney, she's coming in clutch. We're going to start calling you Clutch Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. I'm going to get my beads out for you. 1 second. 1 second. She says, get the big beads. Let's go. Got the big beads rolling. She said, since we went all in for Watson, why would we not for Lamar? Very good point. The Saints tried to go absolutely incredibly crazy to go get Deshaun Watson last year. I mean, Gail Benson was out there meeting with him. They were prepared to give up picks on picks on picks on picks on picks to go get Deshaun Watson. And as if you remember, Teron Armstead was potentially thinking about sticking around. He was waiting for the Deshaun Watson decision to be made about potentially coming back. Also, go get Lamar. Go get Lamar. That'd be fun. Go get Lamar. All right, Mikey Taylor, $5. These all came in during the segment, by the way, so I appreciate you guys super chatting, supporting the channel. Not going to happen, but give the Bengals your next first and second round draft picks for the next 4 years and get Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Man. Yeah, I still don't think that gets it done. I think they say, oh, you want that? Oh, you think that's enough? That's hilarious. And then I think they hang up and block you. I think it's every pick for the next 3 years at the bare minimum. Like, yeah, that's brutal. Could you imagine? Joe Shiesty just lobbing up dimes and throwing dots to that'd be crazy. Yeah, trade. That's going in the title for the mailbag. Trade for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's going in there. All right. Very good running back. Leonard Fournette cut Tampa Bay from Jonathan. Yeah, he did. Tell us some real news about New Orleans Saints that you think is going to happen before the season starts from Brian. All right, Brian, I do think in terms of news, the Saints I do think are going to address the quarterback situation with Derek Carr. I believe that's where they're going to go in sign. Dennis Allen did speak today on Derek Carr at the scouting combine. I'm pulling up what he said right now. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm still learning and trying to perfect being a host and being able to do all this stuff. So just bear with me. Hope you guys, don't mind. All right, here we go. So this is what Dennis Allen had to say when he was asked about the relationship that he has with Derek Carr. It says, quote, "Look, I got a great relationship with him. I drafted him in the second round with the 5th pick, and I think he's highly competitive. I think he's highly intelligent. I think he's got a great work ethic. I think he's an outstanding leader. And so, yeah, those are all the qualities that I like about him. And those are qualities that we like in the quarterback position. So, we'll certainly let that process take place, but we like the player. And honestly, it really feels like the Saints are in a good position with Derek Carr. With all of that, he is looking for a fit in terms of the culture, the scheme, coaching staff. He's not looking just for money. He's looking for a fit as well. And the Saints do fill they fit that fit. They are that fit better than any other team that's been shopping him right now. But if you guys want to get in on the show, if you want to ask some questions, #Saints Super Chat. You can ask us anything in terms of God. Sorry, I got some in my eye, y'all. Ask us about the draft, trades, free agency, quarterback situation. Ask me about my personal life. Ask me about what's going on with Derek Carr, what's going on with Hendon Hooker, what's going on with my boy Who Dat Pat, anything. Let me know. Derek Carr, if you accept mediocre. I still don't understand why everyone says that. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that Derek Carr is the greatest quarterback in the whole wide world, but you have a roster that has talent on it. Despite how bad the Saints were, they were still competing up until week 17 for a playoff spot. I think when that's the case, yes, you have to recognize that there are situations when you should just take a step back, take an L on a season, and just say, you know what? I'm never going to advocate for a rebuild. I never will ever advocate for a rebuild because I think it's a waste of time. I think it shows that you gave up. I think it shows that you don't give a shit about your team. I think it gives you no. I think there's always something to play for. I think there's always something to compete for, regardless of how good or bad the team is. I will never advocate for blowing up the team in an absolute rebuild. I don't agree with that. Mikey, #Saints. Where's Abby? $10 super chat. Abby will come hang out for a minute. We get a super chat. Abby said she'd come hang out. Those are her words, not mine. Mikey Taylor was asking, "Where's Abby?" And I said, $10 super chat. She said, and I said she'd come hang out. It was a little weird. Some trade rumors. We talked about trading, bringing back Lenny. Talked about trading for Lamar. I said that my take was Leonard Fournette would be interesting, but I think the idea of it is better than actually doing it. Like, sure, he'd be good, but I think that you should just go younger and cheaper in the draft. Go get Tajay. If you want to go get a Louisiana guy at running back, go get Tajay Spears. It'd be crazy. Yeah, Seth, your fan base will resent you. There's no good in doing a rebuild. Like, there's just not. Like, this might be a bad take. Even the Bears are not in a complete rebuild. And why I say that, they did not get rid of Justin Fields. They are keeping Justin Fields. They are not in a rebuild. If you are getting rid of the quarterback position and readjusting the entire team, I think that's a rebuild. But the Bears, even then, they have their quarterback of their future. They think right now. Let's see. I love playing with this shit, man. I've always done this shit. My house, I'm kid. Hey, Mikey! Mikey, be nicer in the comments. That's grody. Where did I get him? I mean, I just got him. Yeah, so yeah, Abby, you want to come up and say hi? You don't have to. Mike, yeah, you do. Mikey says $10, 10 minutes, Abby. I don't know if you get 10 minutes, but Abby will come say hi for sure. Yeah, she is working right now, unlike us.
I have an AirPod in my ear. Every time I put this headset on, it is warm. I don't know why. But Trace, I guess you have a hot head. That was a good one. I was really confused on why Trace had Mardi Gras beads. Because he didn't go to Mardi Gras this year. I did. Oh, you had them.
$5 for putting on beads.
For every $5 you put on beads.
So we put on the big ones. Oh, we
I
also
like
have
that
more big
one.
ones. We have more big ones.
I should have brought some. I didn't even think. At the parades, I didn't bring anything home back to Dallas.
Abby said
I know, I
she
suck.
got me a gift at Mardi Gras and didn't even bring it home.
I still have your cup. It's in New Orleans.
So we do have more power beads, $20 super chats. We got big ones. We can put on these ones. Put on these ones. They're wild. They're crazy. They're fun.
Dennis Allen going to be fired this season if you don't get it done next year. Dude.
That'd be the greatest day. When I get the Dennis Allen fired update from ESPN, that'll be the best day of my life.
I don't know. If Derek Carr ends up down there, fingers crossed that
Obviously,
maybe they figure it out.
Obviously, I don't want to.
Yeah,
Fuck Dennis Allen.
look, I'm not a huge Dennis Allen fan, but I'm a Saints fan. So if that means I have to ride with Dennis Allen, thank you. If I have to ride with Dennis Allen this season, then so be it. I will not wish failure on anybody, but what is happening? They're whispering. They do this all the time. And they don't tell me anything going on. Whatever. Yeah, but I do believe if he doesn't figure it out, they might say goodbye. What is happening?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay.
$20 super chat. Putting on the big ones.
Jeremy Gates, hear me out. Draft Hooker. Have y'all talked about drafting Hooker?
Not yet, but that's what we're going to talk about in the mailbag. And we're also, you know what else we're
I'll
gonna
let
talk
Trace
about?
talk about
You know
that.
what we're also going to do? We're also going to talk about trading for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Oh, y'all have a
10.
fun mailbag
I
ahead.
know.
Yeah, y'all are gonna talk about Hendon Hooker. Love Hendon Hooker. I'm a big Hooker fan. I'm a big Hooker fan.
Clip it.
Stop. No, I think that'd be great. DA gets fired by week 12 at the latest. Y'all are putting a lot of faith in the Saints to fire their head coach mid-season. I don't
Brian,
think
no.
that.
Brian,
Wait.
no.
Hire Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy will be a head coach pretty soon. I see it. What do you think about bringing Colin Kaepernick as a Saints quarterback? I'm not. On that note, Trace, you can have your headset back.
No, I don't. I don't want to sign a quarterback who hasn't played in over 5 years. No, thank you. Hasn't played a meaningful snap of football in 5 years. All right, just a reminder, $20 super chats. We're putting on the big beads. We have plenty more to put on. Every $5 super chat, put on one of these beads. Abby, you have something else to say?
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for the support, guys. I
Yeah.
didn't even tell anyone hi, but thanks for having me on today.
Thanks, Abby. If we get another super chat, if we another big super chat, maybe I can convince Abby to come back in here. I'd have to be something worth her time though, because she's a busy gal, and us in the studio are clearly not busy. All right. First one, yeah. All right, let's. Do we have questions? Do we have enough? Do we have any? All right. So, take my time. Okay. Hey guys, I hate to say it, we can't get started until we get at least a couple more questions in. So we need people to use hashtag Saints, ask a question, draft, Hendon Hooker. Ryan, use hashtag Saints and then give us that take. Yeah, just keep it rolling. Brian, use hashtag Saints. Daniel, do not hashtag space Saints. Don't do that question. Don't do that. There's nothing to say. Like, he's not going to the Saints. I have 3 plants in there. Do we have like those super chats and those plants? All right. We'll make it work, man. I can talk. I can ramble. All right. We're gonna make it work. We're just gonna make it work. We're gonna have some fun. And also, if you want, there we go, Kendall. If you want to get on the show, use hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat like Courtney or Mikey have done throughout the day. David, Rowe, Kendall, Taylor, if you've been using hashtag Saints today, so we will be getting them featured. But appreciate you guys for asking questions. Without further ado, let's get this thing started. What's happening here, that nation? Welcome into today's show. I'm your host, Trace Girouard. We're going to be answering your questions from the live chat during our live Saints or our bi-weekly Saints live show on Wednesday afternoons. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to our next one if you want to ask a question. But before we get started, I want you to hit the thumbs up icon and like this video if you love the Saints. Who dat saying they're going to like this video? I know you will, so drop a like on this video. Without further ado, let's break it down. Mikey Taylor coming in with a $10 donation. I appreciate you, Mikey. Let's get Derek Carr. Draft defense with the first-round pick, maybe get a young quarterback, and maybe wait till next season for a quarterback. Who dat? All right, lots to break down here. So Derek Carr, I think I agree with. I think you go get Derek Carr no matter what. I think that he's he would be a great addition. Obviously, he might not be everyone's first choice, but I do think that Derek Carr would be a great fit and a good leader in New Orleans, and for that reason, I think that's why I'm very high on the Saints going and getting him. Draft defense. I still think you go with defensive tackle in the first round. Go get a guy like Brian Breesy. Go get a Siaki Ika. Go get the guy at a Pitt. His name is slipping me. Kalijah Kancey, I believe is his name. But yeah, go get a defensive tackle like that. I think those are interesting names. Even Keon White out of Georgia Tech would be interesting. Young quarterback, my top 3 are Hendon Hooker, Jake Hayner's pretty good. I like him. And I mean, obviously, Anthony Richardson as well, but I just don't know if the Saints are going to be able to get him. But I do agree with you, Mikey. Go get Derek Carr. Go draft a defensive tackle in the first round. Use your second-round pick for Hendon Hooker or another position of need. But appreciate you for your donation. Guys, hit me up on social media. I'm going to be answering questions here for about the next 8 to 10 minutes. But if I miss your question or if you want to chop it up and if you get to this video later, feel free to hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at Trace Girouard 48. On both of those, I made it real easy for you to find me. I also am going to put the links in the comment section and in the description of this video. But let's get to more questions. This one coming in from Seth Centipede. If we get Hendon Hooker, can Marquez Callaway be good again? All right, so I honestly, maybe he could be good. But Marquez Callaway is a free agent this year, and I think that Marquez Callaway could benefit from having a guy who can get the ball downfield and, maybe allow him to cook a little bit more. I mean, when you talk about Marquez Callaway's production last year, I mean, he had 16 receptions, 158 yards, and a touchdown, average 10 yards per catch. But in previous seasons, he never really got to cook outside of 2021, where he was one of the top wide receivers for the Saints. 46 receptions on 84 targets, just under 700 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And in that year, he averaged 15 yards per catch. So, I mean, you go get a young, talented quarterback who can air it out, who can also use his legs, who can be a dual threat offensive weapon. I do think that he could make Marquez Callaway good again, but he also do have to re-sign him in order to make that happen. All right, Courtney, get the big beads on. That's why we put on this. That's why I put this one on. And we have more, so during our Saints Now happy hour after this, we'll put on some more beads. But get the big beads out. Since we went all in for Deshaun Watson, why would we not go all in for Lamar? I think that's actually a pretty good point. And honestly, I think that you should go all in for Lamar. At least try. At least try to go all in for Lamar. And I actually have a trade idea that I cooked up earlier in an earlier video that I discussed. If you can find that one, Seeps. But I think that you could go and try and throw everything at the Ravens to go get him. This is actually the trade idea I cooked up. Go give him Jameis Winston. Go give him this year's first-round pick, next year's first and second-round pick, and then 2025 second-round pick. Maybe you can make that happen for Lamar. I mean, he's a dynamic, extremely talented quarterback, one of the most athletically gifted players in the NFL. Yeah, I don't think – I mean, even if you don't end up with him, go all in and try. Make the calls. All right, question coming in from Zach Wong, one of my homies. Any chance the Saints sign OBJ? All right. Death, taxes, and Odell Beckham Jr. to the Saints. I guess those are the only 3 things inevitable in my life. Yeah, I mean, sure, go bring OBJ, but I don't think he wants to come back here. I mean, this is a guy who is coming off of you have to call it how it is. He's still coming off of a Super Bowl championship. He's still coming off of a Super Bowl ring. Didn't play last year because of injury. Lots of rumors around him going to the Bills, the Cowboys, maybe the Chiefs. A lot of buzz. But the stats have always been impressive. The stats have always been good. Odell Beckham Jr. is a talented wide receiver. I just don't think you go pay Odell all that money to go for a production that you could get cheaper elsewhere. That being said, though, if you want to come back on a vet min deal, if you want to get paid, if you want to just come play for the hometown team and have a good time, play some ball for the black and gold, absolutely go bring him in. And funny enough, Cameron Jordan did get on Twitter. So Odell Beckham Jr., I saw this tweet. Odell Beckham Jr. tweeted a video of him doing workouts, like a kind of a hype video, training montage or whatever. Cam Jordan quote tweeted it and said this: "Looking like they at full tilt. Don't ignore my texts when free agency starts up." OBJ replied and said, "Brother, I never ignore your texts." So Cam, the greatest recruiter in the state of Louisiana, is back at work. But guys, I got to ask you. It seems like every 6 weeks we bring this kind of thing up. But do you want Odell Beckham Jr. in New Orleans for the first time in the 2023 offseason? Let's discuss it. Type OBJ for yes, type no BJ for no. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. All right, another one coming in from Mikey, $5 super chat. Not going to happen, but give the Bengals your next first and second round draft picks for the next 4 years and get Joe Burrow and his wide receiver Jamar Chase. Dude. Just close your eyes with me, guys. Close your eyes. Could you imagine Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara? I mean, wow. Obviously, it would never happen. Obviously, money would have to be even less real than it is right now. That being said, of course I would try and make it happen. I don't think that gets it done, though, Mikey. Like, I think you got to, honestly, I think you'd have to give them your first, second, and third round picks for the next, 6 years. Why would they ever want to give up what they have with those two? Like, they're already likely going to lose T. Higgins because they have to pay Jamar and Joe. Damn, it would be cool to see him come into New Orleans and rep the Saints, but I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, next one in from Blamack, my homeboy, Blamack. Fresh picture, by the way. Alvin Kamara on the all-white edit. That's pretty clean. Should the Saints trade for Mac Jones? Well, maybe. You could look at it. I think you could throw together an interesting trade package, actually. But in terms of what Mac Jones has done for his stats over his career, 2021, 67% completion percentage, 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Was a Pro Bowler his rookie year. Interesting to note. Last year, though, 65.2 completion percentage. Yard production dropped a little bit. Touchdowns dropped a little bit, but also interceptions down to 11. Career stats as they follow. It is kind of hard to give an evaluation on Mac Jones because he pretty much had a defensive coordinator calling his plays for him. What I'll say, though, is the Saints did target Mac Jones in the 2021 NFL draft. So for that reason, I think that it would make sense. He's young. I don't think he likes playing in the cold. I have this conspiracy theory that Mac Jones, if you get him out of cold weather, he will thrive. The kid is from the South. He grew up, I believe, in Jacksonville, Florida, and he played college ball at Alabama, and then now he is going and playing professional football in Boston and then Northeast where it's colder than hell. So, no, I don't think that it would be a great idea, but sure wouldn't. There's certainly worse ideas out there, in my opinion, at least. But if anything happens, if anything goes on, if there's anything notable about the New Orleans Saints, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications because we are going to make videos for all of the latest Saints trade rumors, draft coverage, news, all sorts of free agency hype, everything that's going to be going on. We're going to have you covered. And if you are subscribed, type gang in the comment section, and I'll be sure to give you guys some shout-outs in a future video. I appreciate all of y'all who have subscribed, but go down and join our squad. All right, next question in from Tyler Helton. Thoughts on Juju? So Juju Smith-Schuster he's going to be a free agent this year, and I think that he would be a guy that the Saints should give a call. That being said, coming off of a Super Bowl ring, he's going to command a lot of money. Last season, 78 receptions, 933 yards, 3 touchdowns. So didn't break 1,000. Maybe you could have him as a veteran wide receiver too, on the other side of Chris Olave. I think that would be an interesting idea. Let's go to the next one. Bro guy, number 9, rocking number 7 in the picture. What's your prediction for the Saints record next season and with an ideal offseason? All right. So I'll go ideal offseason, and then I'm going to go Saints record. So ideal offseason, I'm going to say sign Derek Carr. You still draft a quarterback like Hendon Hooker. You draft a guy like Tyjae Spears. You bring in a veteran or a big-bodied wide receiver like an Allen Lazard. You also draft defensive interior in the first round. Add some young safety depth. You do have Smoke Monday though, so I want to get Smoke Monday healthy. That's what I'll say. Get him on the field. I think that'd be interesting. I think that's my ideal offseason plan. But in terms of the schedule, so your home opponents, you have the Bears, Lions, Jags, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Panthers, Bucs. For the away schedule, this is just the opponents that they have. You have the Packers, Texans, Colts, Rams, Vikings, Patriots. Suck it, Chiefs. We're going live for that. For the Vikings game. Patriots, Falcons, Panthers, Bucs, obviously. So I'm going to go just as things stand right now. This is before the draft. This is before anything has gone on, any crazy moves. I think you beat the Bears, lose to the Lions, lose to the Jags. So that's 1 and 2. I think you beat the Giants, beat the Titans. So what is that, 3 and 3? And then you sweep Atlanta, So that would be 5-3. Split one with Carolina. I think they'll be better. So that'd be 6-4. I think you sweep Tampa Bay again this year. So that'd be 9-4. Beat the Packers. Hot take depending on when the season is. Maybe you lose to the Texans depending on how D'Amico gets that team looking, depending on what goes on there. But I'm going to chalk that up as I'm going to take that one. I just feel like there's a loss in there somewhere. Colts you beat. Rams you beat. Vikings you lose to. Patriots you beat. So what is that? Yeah, I think that the Vikings are going to have another good year. And for some reason, the Vikings and the Saints always are so back and forth. So what would that be? I said what, like 6 losses, 7 losses? So 11 wins, 11-6. I think that's a pretty good season. I'd say I would take an 11-6 season, honestly, for the New Orleans Saints, considering the current offseason situation you're in. All right, next one in. Cade Lopez. Should the Saints sign Carson Wentz? I just saw Carson Wentz. No, absolutely not. That never, not even once, not even going to think about it. Get him as far away from me as possible. When Taylor Heineke is starting over you, no. What I will say is the case study for how quickly Carson Wentz fell off will be interesting. Wasn't good. Just wasn't good. Helped take the Eagles to a Super Bowl. Leaves Philly, goes to Indianapolis, goes to Washington, doesn't find success anywhere. I want nothing to do with him. It's going to be a no from me, dog. But I also have to ask y'all this. Should the Saints sign Carson Wentz? Type in for no. Type H in for hell no. I want absolutely nothing to do with that. I want absolutely nothing to do with Carson Wentz on my team next year. So appreciate the question, Cade, but no thank you. All right, next one coming in from David Rowe. Hashtag Saints. Culture hasn't been an issue here for quite a while, so we definitely don't need a rebuild. Our drafting and free agent targets need to be spot on. So I agree with you, David. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it. I will never advocate for a rebuild. I will never think that a rebuild is the right thing to do. I understand why people say, let's blow it up. Let's make it, let's just gut it all, start from scratch, and start from the ground up. But at the end of the day, no, it's never a good idea. I think that it shows how poorly run an organization could possibly be. And I also think that blowing up and rebuilding a team just is a slap in the face to the fans. It's a slap in the face to the organization. I will never be a fan of rebuilding. So I agree with you. Free agent targets definitely need to hit. Draft targets, I'd love to get another draft class like we did with that legendary 2017 class. I mean, we could hit on every pick again. That would be awesome. We hit on a bunch of them last year, so it would be interesting to see how that pans out. Kendall Taylor, next question coming in. If Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay, Derek Carr goes to the Jets, could Jimmy G go to the Saints? He certainly could. Jimmy G, though, is going to command a lot of money. I know that the Saints are in salary cap hell, and if you want to go and sign Jimmy G, you're going to have to clear up some space. So at the end of the day, I could see the Jimmy Garafolo getting signed for a contract similar, if not more than Derek Carr, where around that $25 to $35 million range. I wouldn't mind Jimmy G in New Orleans. I think that he's way more injury prone. That's where it kind of gets iffy for me in the sense of an older and veteran quarterback. I don't know if Jimmy G how much he has left in the tank, to be honest, but that I will say, it'd be worth giving a call. And Kermit the Frog, he's saying that Wentz is the same thing as Derek Carr. Clearly hasn't watched either of them play football recently. But anyway, be sure to subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We are going live every other week. We're going to be live for some draft coverage, some free agency coverage. Anytime the Saints make a move, we're going to have you covered. If the Saints do bring in a big name like a Derek Carr, we are going to be live, reacting to it, breaking it all down, giving our reactions. So please, gang, feel free to subscribe and join our squad. We're trying to become the #1 Saints YouTube channel across the internet. So help us out. Subscribe today. Join the squad. Who Dat Nation, it's always a pleasure. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time. All right, 3-minute shot clock. Kermit the Frog, the world's worst troll, is back in the comment section. Hey, Kermit, I don't know if you missed the segment earlier. I talked about Taysom Hill. I talked about re-signing him. I bet, or not re-signing him, but making him the starting quarterback. So I gave you a video to not complain about. Isn't that great? All right, 3 minutes. 3-minute shot clock. What we're going to do here is every $5 super chat or more, we are going to put on some beads. If we get a $20 super chat, we are going to put on the power beads. And since we are done with all of our cuts for the day, any super chat more than $20, we're cracking open some beers and we're having some fun. I'll even do a beer bong. Maybe convince Abby to come do a beer bong with me. So maybe not. Carr's trash or he wouldn't have been cut. Yeah, well, he asked to be cut. Like he said, cut me. That happens. It happens. I don't know what to tell you, dog. I don't know what to tell you. But 3-minute shot clock, $5 super chats if you want to support the channel, want to support the show. Seth, he's asking, how did you find the schedule for 2023? The schedule is not out, but the list of opponents is. So I was just going down the list of the home and then the away opponents. So that's all right. Solo straight. Damn, I misstarted the chat. What's up, Hoodats? Kermit the Frog. Trace, I love you, but I hate Carr. Dude, I get it, man. I get it. It's like, come on, man. I like Jimmy G. He's just hurt. Taysom Hill, absolutely, he's electric. He's a very fun quarterback to watch. But my whole argument is you can't have that be every single – like it's just not sustainable for an entire season, for multiple seasons, every single game like that. He is so successful because you use him in, little spurts and whatnot. But, Kermit, I do appreciate you, weighing in, giving your thoughts on all of our videos, being a commenter and whatnot. I appreciate you being a real one. So thank you. Relax. Schedule don't come out until May. Well, Cameron, the schedule don't come out till May, but the opponent's already out. So there you go. Draft Hendon Hooker from Jeremy Gates. First round Hendon Hooker. Yeah, maybe go get Hendon Hooker. Go get a lineman. Osiris Torrance, I believe is his name. The guard out of Florida has been an offensive guard that I've seen a lot of Saints fans talk about, which would be an interesting one. Who else on the O-line? There's a lot of big ones. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, 30 seconds left to send in any super chats to support the channel, to get up on the show. We'll pop you up. Reminder, $20. We'll put on another set of big beads. $50 or anything more than that, we'll get the beers flowing. 30 seconds remaining. I appreciate all of y'all who have hung out and joined us. Jalen Richard, he's asking, is Jalen Carter out of the draft? No. Right now, I'm going to pull up his statement because I'm not going to say anything without having his statement correct. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't want to be incorrect on this. I want to make sure I get this right. So bear with me while I pull up his statement. So for those of you who don't know, an arrest warrant was sent out for Jalen Carter, charged with racing in a fatal car crash. Not good situation in terms of, people getting hurt, people not doing well. But here's what his statement says, and I'm just reporting what I'm seeing, reporting the facts. Statement is as follows. This morning, I received a telephone call from the Athens, Georgia Police Department informing me that 2 misdemeanor warrants have been issued against me for reckless driving and racing. Numerous media reports also have circulated this morning containing inaccurate information concerning the tragic events of January 15, 2023. It is my intention to return to Athens to answer the misdemeanor charges against me and to make certain that the complete and accurate truth is presented. There is no question in my mind that when all of the facts are known, that I will be fully exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. He was supposed to be at the NFL Scouting Combine to speak. Our guy, Tom Downey, was supposed to go be at his podium. He did not speak today. That's what there is on Jalen Carter. There you go. Shot clock is up. We're going to give it a couple seconds for those watching on delay, answer a couple more questions, and we'll get out of here. I understand that Carr keeps us in win now mode and basically says the division champs, but what are we winning? A chance to be bounced to round one and a $35 million a year, need a cheaper bridge quarterback. So, I mean, that's fair. You definitely bring up a point. Like, if that's the route with that argument, I think, like, if you want to go that route, Baker Mayfield. Like, if you want to go the cheaper route, Baker Mayfield is a guy that I would look at. There's always active. They are always active. I thought he wasn't at the combine. He was not there this morning. Just because you're not at the combine doesn't mean you're like not in the draft though. They're always active in the moving, blah, 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 blah. Saints do move around in the draft board. They do get active in terms of trading up or down. Solo straight, $35 million cheap in today's market. Kind of true. Quarterback market is going up. Salary cap is going up. Who do you want for quarterback? Ryan, give me Derek Carr. Give me Hendon Hooker. And if you want to go cheaper, give me Baker Mayfield. Those are my three. I'll say. Andy Dalton, I mean, sure, the idea of it's cool, but like, just, no, I'd rather bring in Baker. I mean, I get it. Andy Dalton is familiar with the team, but he's just, at least Baker like is exciting to watch. At least he like bangs his head on his teammates' helmets and stuff. That's what I'm saying, Solo. All right. Well, I appreciate all of y'all who've hung out with us. I appreciate everyone who's super chatted, supported the squad, supported the show. Thank you guys. Everyone, we will be back again we'll be back again live, not next week, but the week after. Me and producer Seeps, we're alternating every other week. So it'll be one of those situations where you gotta stay, either subscribe and hang out and super chat if you want us to do more live shows, or hang out, subscribe, tune into our regular daily live videos. Hold up, is Baker Mayfield better than Taysom? I like Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill's a lot more fun to watch. I don't know if Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Taysom Hill. That being said, I think that I would rather – I mean, not a better quarterback. I think that Taysom Hill he's more dynamic because he has that incredible run ability, but I think that Baker might be a better just pure quarterback. That also being said, I don't know necessarily. I'm going to have to go back and watch a lot more Baker Mayfield tape. I admittedly haven't watched a ton recently. I've been kind of just going off of the stats and the highlights and the stuff that I've been watching, but I need to do a little bit more in-depth. I mean, I've been watching, but I need an in-depth dive of the deep analytics and all this, because that's where it gets tough. So it kind of gets where it's tough on this thing. All right, $58 on the day. You guys are absolute real ones. I appreciate all of y'all. Who Dat Nation? We're going to just spin these around because it's Mardi Gras a couple weeks afterwards. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get out of here unless anybody sends us a super chat. Who Dat Nation? Y'all stay golden. We'll have a video out tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. Appreciate you guys tuning in.